feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, how are you? Did you all have fun doing John Benet Ramsey? Was that fun? I hope you had fun with Trish. How are you? Good to see you. So Erin's in the title. I'm not going to do a ton on Erin, but I got a couple of things I wanted to go through tonight, but we can talk about other true crime as well. Hey Joe, what's up? Yeah, don't be starting nothing. Oh my God, cat. Hey, my cat is very annoying. Hey, he's back. He's back, Mr. Orange Cat. Marlene, good to see you guys. Hey, Robbie T's here. Robbie, how are you feeling? Are you out of your rehab hospital? I would like to know. I would like to know. Buddy, guys, hold on. I have to move this cat. Hold on. Yeah, he's a naughty cat. He's not naughty. He's just always wants to hang out with dad when I'm doing the show. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to run a YouTube channel here, not a cat channel. And he doesn't seem to understand at all. He seems to think that this is actually a YouTube channel about cats, apparently. So that's what he thinks. Robbie says, I'm still in rehab. My dear, I hope you are progressing. When you have some time, I want to know more about what happened to you. I want to know your story of how you ended up in. As someone who just went through 2 months of hospital with Mrs. Ping, I feel your pain. Well, sort of. I know what it's like for your family to be surrounding you right now. It is very difficult. But hey, keep beating your milestones. Get out of that bloody hospital and get back to your business. Get back to your business on the weekends. I'm sure all the people, I'm not going to say what you do. I don't want to dox you, but I'll say get back to all your people that love you on the weekends and are probably missing you. So, Miss Woozy said, Mr. Muffin just wants all our love and attention. I don't see the problem. The problem is I don't want him on my lap. Here he is. Here he is. Look, Muffin. Here he is. Look. Say hi. He's back on my lap again. He wants to sit on my lap while I do the live show, but it's extremely uncomfortable because I have to do this and do the keyboard, and it's not as easy as you think. Kalisa, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Hey, do you know what's very strange? I was on last night just before like 7 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, and I was like, yeah, there's no updates in the Charlie Kirk thing. I hope by the time I come on tonight, they will have caught the guy. An hour later, they announced that they had taken the guy into custody 11 p.m. the night before. So Ping had some very bad timing last night. If I had just moved the live show for 1 hour, would have had it live on the channel, that the breaking news. So sometimes you have good timing, sometimes you have bad timing. Hey, Spin, how are you? Good to see you. Marlene said Mr. Muffin could be committing crimes. Yeah, he could be. He probably does. He's probably a cat burglar. Miss Woozy said he just wants every second of every hour of your time. He does. He thinks that he is the only thing in the world that needs attention, and anyone else is an enemy to his patting. Kathy said, I had an orange cat that lived to be 17, and his biological mother lived to be 21. Jeez, that's a long-living cat. Do you want to live to 21, Muffin? He probably does. Probably means more biscuits. So he would like that. All right. I want to talk about Erin a little bit, just for a minute, and then we'll talk about other true crime. So we are now at the end of this sort of really long trial process. This trial process dates back to it dates back to August of 24. So in August of 24, they started the sort of pre-trial process for Erin Patterson. And then it went through 24 into early 25, and then they started the trial process. Trial process was with Justice Beale, and then we went to trial in late April, and then we went through all the way through trial for 10 weeks of trial, and then about a week of deliberations, and then 2 months after that, we had our victim impact statements. And then 2 weeks after that, we had the sentencing, which we brought you live on this channel, which was a great thing to do. I have never been able to be a part of something like that before. That was really special to be able to bring you and all my viewers live from the courtroom. We haven't been able to do any of that through the trial, and that was such a big deal to be able to show that to you. Now, I'm sure you've all watched Justice Beale many, many times after that happened. So we did it live, and I said to you that I had a recording of it. I do. I don't know if you guys want me to play it. It's quite long. It's like 45 minutes. But I was given the raw file for it. So the news station that was our broadcast partner ended up getting the raw file to us later that day. It was later that day. And as you can see, it has none of the branding on it. So we could add our own branding if we wanted to. And you'll see. I'll play a little bit. I won't play it all. But this is the raw copy from the camera.
Using, quote, weasel words. You called Simon, quote, a deadbeat, and wondered why Gail was not, quote, horrified by his stance regarding child support. According to your testimony at trial, and to a lesser extent Simon's testimony, the dispute over child support had resolved by early 23. On the 18th of April 23, one Christine McKenzie, a former poison specialist, was visiting her daughter in Lock, which is a small town about a 25-minute drive northwest of Leongatha, where you lived. Miss McKenzie observed death cap mushrooms in Lock Reserve and posted details of her observations, including photographs, on the iNaturalist's website the same day. Ms. McKenzie disposed of all the death cap mushrooms that she could find because of the danger she thought they posed, especially to young children. On the morning of the 28th of April 23, your mobile phone, which was never recovered by investigators, connected to certain cell towers consistent with a possible visit by you to the Lock Reserve. That afternoon, you purchased a food dehydrator in Leongatha. Between the 28th of April and the 4th of May 23, you photographed forage mushrooms on the trays of your dehydrator. The images were found by investigators on a Samsung tablet later seized from your home. Dr. Tom May, a world-renowned expert in fungi, gave evidence at your trial that those images were, quote, consistent with death cap mushrooms to a high degree of confidence. On the 21st of May 23, Dr. May observed death cap mushrooms in Nielsen Street, Outram. Outram is a small town about a 23-minute drive southwest of Leongatha. Later that day, Dr. May posted details of his observations, including photographs, on the iNaturalist website.
So there you go, just a little bit. I'm not going to play it all. It's 45 minutes long. If you want me to upload it to the channel, I will, so you guys can watch it all in full. It's quite a large file. It's not the uncompressed file. It has been compressed, but it's still extremely high quality. I think it's 1080p and quite a high bit rate, so it's pretty good quality. Aaron says, I heard on the ABC podcast that the camera was positioned right above Erin's head behind her. So this is pretty much the same view she got of Justice Beale. Yeah, that sounds about right. And being that the ABC was the sort of chosen company to do the camera, so there wasn't several cameras. There wasn't like each broadcast person had their own camera, which does sometimes happen in certain media things that happen. So like if there's a press conference or whatever, they've all got their own cameras. This was a pull. So this was a pull proceeding. and we all got access to the same thing from the ABC. So they were the ones who did it. We had to work with the ABC to get permission to, one, broadcast the trial live, two, then get the copy from them. So that's why I thanked them during our live broadcast of it, saying thank you to the ABC. So yeah, if they're saying that it was positioned right above her head, I believe them because they are the ones who did it. So they would have the best information. Wendy says, yeah, it was a great recap for me. Really enjoyed Justice Biel. Yeah, I think he really narrowed it down, many hours of court time into about 45 minutes. He did a great job of this sentencing. I have it here. Give me 1 second. I have the sentencing remarks if I can find them. Is it that one? No, yes, here it is. Now, I can't show this to you. We're not allowed to. So any documents we get, we're not allowed to put them on the screen. They are considered property of the Supreme Court, and copyright belongs to them. So I can sort of talk about bits from it, explain how it works, but I can't show it to you. So that's sort of how that works. But I can tell you the bit here: criminal offenses. Yeah, so one of the big things that people asked about during this trial was motive. It was one of the big things of this trial. People constantly ask about what was the motive. And I refer you to Justice Biel here, where he talks about motive in his sentencing remarks. And he says, just before I turn to the circumstances of your offenses, I note that at your trial, the prosecution conceded that they could not prove motive. As is standard, I directed the jury that the prosecution did not have to prove motive, only the elements of the offenses, and that, and he quotes here from his own words here from the trial, some murders occur for no apparent reason. The motives for such murders may only ever be known to the offenders. He continues and says, clearly, the jury was satisfied beyond reasonable doubt that you committed the alleged offenses. Only you know why you committed them. I will not be speculating about that matter. So even during um, that, even in his sentencing, he wouldn't be brought on it. Marco said, I saw another overseas broadcast and they showed Justice Biel at a big desk with a big wall. That was the court camera. Can you please forward that to me, that link? Because the Supreme Court will be very interested in knowing who that is. That particular stream was the court stream. This is the broadcast stream. So they had two going. There is a camera in this courtroom, and they just don't use it for certain things. So I would be very interested to know who that was, because the Supreme Court issued a notice just before the sentencing in giant capital letters saying, do not rebroadcast our live stream on the court cam. So it is actually an offense under law to do this. So I would be very, very happy to know who that is, and I'll pass it on to the Supreme Court media team. They'll take a look at it. Yeah, that was that's the reason I didn't use it. So we had to use the pool camera because they didn't want broadcasting of their court cam. So yeah, do not do that. If you are a live streamer in Australia or anywhere else, do not rebroadcast the live streams from the courthouse. They will come down on you like a ton of bricks. It is actually an offense under Victorian law to rebroadcast that. Actually, I think it's on their thing here. Hold on. Yeah, I'll show you. I don't know if it's up anymore. Let me check. No, they pulled it down already, but it's an offense under Victorian law to rebroadcast that court cam. Yeah, that's why, like I said, we have to use the other camera. And normally I'm like, I don't care about that, but they were really strict on that requirement. Joe said, don't do it. Don't share the link. Snitches get stitches. Wendy Wobble said, "What are the charges for doing something like that?" I don't know. Let's have a look. I'll go to my instructions from the Supreme Court and I will tell you. No, like, I mean, it's one thing to snitch on people. It's one thing to break the law deliberately after the Supreme Court put out a notice asking people to stop doing that. They said there was enough live streams around mine, other people's, the ABC, all that you don't need to do that. All right, let me try and find. They put out a statement. It was like the week before the Friday. Let me see if I can find it. Nope. Is it on this link? Oh yeah, it's here. Is this the one? I don't know if it is this one. This one looks like the one we have. No, this is the Supreme Court one. I don't want to put it on the screen, but there was another one. I'm looking at it right now. Um, uh, they normally have it in their emails. Just check one other email from them. But they had a big song and dance about it just before the trial. No, it's a plea hearing. Timing. I don't know. I don't have it in my list right now, but it's an offense under the act. Hold on. Supreme. Here. Here. Terms of use. Court footage, including hearings, must not be recorded, rebroadcast, or transmitted, including by taking a photograph, screenshot, audio, or visual recording. This includes posting on social media. Offenses apply. So it is an offense. Let me see if I can find the actual offense for it. It is an offense under section 4D. So there is a thing about it here. Offenses. It is an offense under section 4A, 4B, 4D to record, transmit, or publish any of the, footage or audio from the court. It is an offense under common law to disrupt or obstruct court proceedings. What is the? They don't give us a penalty. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what you'd get if you got in trouble for it, but it sounds like I don't know. I will ask the Supreme Court if you guys want. If you guys want us to, if you want me to, I'll reach out to them and I'll ask them like, what are the offenses for doing that? And I'll say because people on my comments want to know what potentially it would be. What's the crown for? The crown? I'm so confused. You have to explain more, my friend. Um, the crown, the thing in the chat. I think it's just a leaderboard for people who are commenting. Yes, I will find out. I'll email them and I'll ask their media team on Monday, like, what are the offenses? Like, what are your potential penalties for doing that? By the way, the last person I'd want to piss off is Justice Beale. I would not want to be on his bad side, so I wouldn't want to do that. Okay, let's go back. So we just got the sentencing on Monday, but what we really didn't do is we didn't take any questions that day. We sort of really shut it down very quickly. we sort of ran away from it because it was sort of a very busy morning rebroadcasting all this for you guys. So one last time, before we move on to a different topic, I want to see if anyone has any outstanding questions about the trial, the sentencing, or the victim impact statements, or anything like that. If you have any Q&As, let me know. This is your chance. I probably won't do another one again in the future now. We're really slowing down on this one, and on Monday, we're expecting to go to a different trial. So on Monday, we're expecting to go to that trial in New Zealand and start covering that one. So the Erin Patterson thing will be done. We'll be sort of finished for the foreseeable future. I do have that video coming out. I'm one of these type of perfectionists that think, there's people that make a painting and then they keep messing with it until they ruin it. That's who I am, and I keep doing that with my recorded one that I've done. So I keep editing it, and I'm like, I don't like that. I'm gonna change this. So it will come out eventually. I just got to feel okay with it, and then I'll get it for you guys. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. We have crowns by our names. Yeah, those purple things, I've seen them. I don't know what they do. Gayla said the crowns are to do with the amount of comments the person makes. Okay. You are now Ping Live royalty. Okay, I can be that. I can be royalty of a live stream. Sure. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. If you do not, you should be aware that you may be subject to legal action, including breach of copyright. So it looks like the footage would fall under breach of copyright, defamation, or potentially contempt of court. So that's what it says here in my instructions here. I'm going to put it in the chat. It said to abide by any orders or directions made relating to the confidentiality or non-publication of the proceedings shown in this footage. If you do not, you should be made aware that you will be subject to a legal action, including for breach of copyright, defamation, and potentially contempt of court. So that's what you get in trouble with. Sean said, if Simon was being poisoned and seeking legal advice, why did he let them go to Erin's to eat? So this was actually talked about in the later parts around the victim impact statement period and around there. So the information that I have is that he let them go to Erin's to eat because he believed he was the target, not his family. He thought because Erin's relationship with them was really good, that she wouldn't attempt to hurt them, and that she was only directing her anger and poisoning towards Simon. So that was the explanation for why Simon let them go and eat at his home. So I hope that explains it. I think it partially doesn't make sense because at the time, the only person who had been poisoned was Simon. He had been, allegedly poisoned several times. So Sean said, but he was meant to be there also. He was never going. He was never, ever, ever going to that lunch, ever. Yeah, he was never going. I know he replied to her late, but I don't think he wanted anything to do with that day, that lunch, anything. So like she begged him to go and he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm not going. I'm fine. You have fun though. You want to talk to me later about your illnesses? Sure, I'll do that on the phone. I will talk to you on a telephone, but I don't want to go in person." That's basically what he said. Jonna said the Girl Scout cookies. Hey, we are still eating our way through all those Girl Scout cookies that DJ sent to us. We've had some. I gave some to some reporters when I was at the trial. I was trying to make friends. They liked the cookies. I gave some to my in-laws. They liked them. So we've all been showered in Girl Scout cookies from DJ. Jonna said, will she be moved to a new jail cell? No. It sounds like she's probably going to stay in this Gordon unit for a prolonged period of time. It could be years. It could be years. Uh, but what she will get access to, they dealt with this in the hearing where they got evidence from the person who runs the jail. They were saying, what is the difference between pre-sentencing and after sentencing? And the woman who was representing the jail was basically saying the only real difference is Erin will get access to education if she wants it. And there's some like other programs that she can get a hold of. So it's basically just more programs that she can do while in jail. But her surroundings won't change that much. Oh, sorry, buddy. What's my favorite? Oh, I don't know. Um, I like the lemon ones, but DJ told me they're not selling them next year. The lemon ones were really good, right? You like them too? Mrs. Ping likes the cinnamon ones, but the lemon ones were really good. Lemon Girl Scout. There was these really nice lemon ones that they had this year. Lemonade or something. They were, yeah, these ones here. They were really, really good. These ones. They're called like lemon ups or something. They were like a lemon biscuit with like lemon icing. They were like probably our favorite from the whole thing. They were really good. Marco said, do you ever think she'll do a tell-all interview, or do you think she'll take it to the grave? You know, some of the information we had from the prison outside of the trial was that she's really sort of like reveling in the attention that she's getting through the media. And I think if she could ever get approval to do that, yeah, she might. I think she might. The only thing I would say is that she wouldn't be able to make any money or be paid for it. So I don't know. She likes money. So I don't know. I mean, they said during the trial she was not money motivated. I also believe she likes being comfortable and having a lot of money. Those two things can be the same like both can be true at the same time. Let's see. Kathy said, I don't think there's a cookie I wouldn't eat. So yeah, maybe Marco. I mean, Simon's doing his own podcast. I think she would want to have her say against what he is saying in public. Sean said, I would have replied, you think I'm going to eat your food after making me sick 3 times already? Yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why there was such this like pussyfooting around the subject between the family members. I'm not sure if that's just the way they do things or I don't know. Hi, buddy. What's wrong? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but it seemed like Simon had told a few people about the poisonings, and his own father was sort of like, keep it on the quiet. Don't be telling people. We don't want this spreading around the community. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why. Lisa said you didn't share Girl Scout cookies. I did, just not with you. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't seen you. So if I did, I may have given you some if I had any on me. Jonna said she doesn't talk to other inmates. That's weird. I guess she's ashamed. No, I don't think that's what's going on. I heard that when she was in the other jail, she was talking to people. She hasn't been talking to anyone in the Gordon unit. So I don't know why that is the case, but maybe she doesn't like her neighbor. I don't know. Gayla has never had a Girl Scout cookie. Really? I mean, I'm very lucky that DJ sent me some. Just call me Kim. I'm wondering why they are sold when they are sold now. Girl Scout cookies are sold in February, aren't they? After Valentine's Day, they normally start selling them. Yeah, not until April or something. No, not until Feb. Muffin, what are you doing? Yeah, lie down. Good cat. Yeah, there he goes. He found a way to be comfortable. Um, I'm not hard to find. Actually, you were during the trial. I couldn't track you down. I was trying to track you down during the trial because you said you were going to be at Morwell, and I was trying to track you down because I was in Morwell for the trial, and I know now where you were, and I'm not going to say where you were on the live stream, but I was trying to track you down for weeks. Ask Trish and Stacy. I was like, have you seen her? Do you know where she is? Has she contacted you? And I was trying to track you down. Kathy said, when I get a hold of some, I'm sending you some. Yeah, send some to Gayla. She might like them. All right. Any other questions before we get out of Erin Patterson? Now, there is some. Hold on. I'll check my file of Erin things. Got that. This is the transfer. I think out of everything I've got here, I've shown you all the evidence. You guys have seen every bit of evidence. I think we've shown over 100 bits of evidence. Just let me check if I've shown you literally everything. I think about the only thing I haven't shown you, there's a lot of text messages between people, like between family members and Don and Gail and Simon. I think that's about the only thing we haven't put up. Yeah, we showed you all these. Yeah, I think most of them you have seen. You've seen that. I'm just checking through a couple of them. Timestamps. Yep, we've shown that. Yeah, I really think you might have seen all of them. Although there's a map of Lee and Gatha on here. I don't think you need to see that. There's also a map of Monash. What else is there? Police interview, photo book. Yeah, you guys have seen the photo book that was in the trial. I think we showed you that. Yeah, so this was the weirdest one, like out of the evidence that we got. It was this. It was Erin Patterson's, and I know it goes to the evidence of her claims that she had mushroom poisoning, but the medical bowel chart that we got in the evidence was one of the things they showed at trial, and they were trying to demonstrate they were trying to say that she didn't have mushroom poisoning, basically, and that her recovery from her alleged mushroom poisoning, which the jury rejected, was, I believe it was laxative. I believe she took laxatives to try and mimic the effects, and I'll tell you why. When we heard the medical evidence about her being ill, her recovery from like sort of having diarrhea was very quick. When she got to hospital, it cleared up within 12 hours. And that tells me, one, it's not mushroom poisoning. Two, it was most likely laxatives. She probably, because they're fast acting, they last for a while and then they sort of stop. They don't work anymore. So I believe that was what happened here. Hug said, how many victims gave impact statements? So there was 28. We only heard from 7. So in the courtroom, we heard 7 spoken, either spoken from the person themselves or a representative or the prosecution. But there was over, I think it was 28. Sorry, there was a thing in court where they were like, it's 27, no, it's 28, no, it's 27, no, it's 28. I believe it's 28. And 21 of these impact statements were requested not to be read out in court. So they weren't read out so media could report on it. They were given directly to the judge and were not made public. So almost 30. Jojo says, Cincinnati chili. I don't know what that is. Marco said, is there any footage of Erin being interrogated before being charged in that interview? No. There is no evidence or not. It wasn't presented at trial and we don't have it. If there's any more of it, I don't have it. So actually, that's a good point. What date is on the one that we have? Give me a sec. We have that interrogation video. Extract. So we have the one from the 5th of August. So that's the one that we have. When she was arrested in November, there would be a recorded interview from that day too. So we didn't get that. I don't know why. And it wasn't presented at trial. The one that we have is this one that everyone has now seen a million times of her talking. This is the one that we were given. Yeah, I'm just closing some tabs. So, no, we don't. We don't have another one. There would be one. When she was arrested and charged with the murders, they would have interviewed her that day too. And there probably may have been some more as well. But the only one that we were given was from the 5th of August after the search warrant was done on her property. That's it. So, live from my sofa had a video of interview from before. From before what? The only ones we were given were these ones. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, so if someone has a different video than this, it wasn't given to us in the evidence folder. This is the only one we got, and there was we had to wait for it. We only got it many weeks after the trial, and it was there was some legal stuff to get it. So Audio Power said maybe we never saw it because she said something prejudicial, possibly. Even this one has been edited. You see, it's 20 minutes long, but I'm guessing it went. You see the time skip, so watch it as we go through. The time does jump, like different periods as we go through. That's not me stopping. That's just it jumping time. So as we go through, you'll see. Like now we're into 5 o'clock already. So yeah, it does jump around a bit. Yeah, I can give you the email. Marcus said, "Are you going to reach out to Erin for a one-on-one interview?" I don't know if she granted, but when she can accept mail, of course I'll try. But I don't think she will give it to anyone. But of course I'll try to see if she wants to talk or do an interview. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what video that you're talking about. There's no other video um, that is out of the court. The only ones that have been released are the ones that I've shown you, and I was the first person to post these because we got them. I posted them like straight away. So if there's any other interviews of these supposed police interviews, I don't know where they came from because like we don't have it, and I've not seen any other interview. So this is the only one. But this one's from the 5th of August, so very early on. This is only what, a week after the lunch. She wasn't arrested until a couple of months later. So there would be another one later on. Yeah. So yeah.
Between Detective Lead and Senior Constable Stephen Eppingstall and Erin Patterson of 84 Gibson.
I think this bit is the bit that is the most, to me, is the most impactful. Hold on, where is it?
His condition is still
Here.
Following eating at your house, Donald, Ian, Gail, and Heather all become so ill that they ultimately ended up in the intensive care unit at both the Daniel Hospital and moved to the Austin Hospital. All right. Following that, they had a deterioration in their condition, and that they become so ill that their livers have failed. All right.
Watch Erin when they tell her, one, her family members have died from her cooking, and two, watch her when they tell her that they've been keeping information from her. To me, this is the most impactful thing in this entire video. That and that she lied about certain things. So they asked for her mobile number. She gives a completely different number to her normal mobile phone number, and she lies about some other things as well.
Donald underwent transplant last night. Okay, and his condition is still extremely critical as of last report. Heather and Gail passed away. In relation to Ian, I don't have a current prognosis in relation to where he's at. as of late yesterday, the diagnosis isn't great for him either. We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. You understand why we're asking these questions? Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill. So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before, and I've been very, very helpful with the health department through the week because I wanted to help that.
You know, in Justice Beale's sentencing remarks, he slapped her down for that statement in her police interview when she says she's been very, very helpful to the health department. He basically was like, "No, you haven't." This was one of the big things in the trial to me. It was just the constant lies. Even during a police interview, she had to lie about being helpful to the health department, even though she knew, should this ever go to trial, that those text messages would come out into the public and it would be proven false. So she likes to think she is very clever and very smart. She is not. She has problems forward thinking and trying to understand what are the repercussions of her lies. Because for someone trying to get away with a crime, she certainly dug herself a hole very quickly with things that were easily disproven. Sean said, "Why are people so unkind?" I don't know. I'm not sure, but people are very cruel. Gail said, "I did send." Oh, you did? Carly said she isn't even trying to look sad. She just is like, oh, it's almost like you're being told someone's auntie that they haven't seen in 30 years died, and you're like, oh, really? Oh, that's very sad. Not like these people who are supposed to be like your direct family. Yeah, very lack of emotions. Marco said in this interview, why do you think they called BS on her lies on the spot? Why they didn't? Because they're using a police tactic, which is if you can show someone is lying about what they are telling you, it goes towards their case. So they won't often challenge someone like that. This is a first interview, by the way. They want to sort of get this. They probably interviewed her a number of times. They want to get this sort of first interview, and then they'll interview her again, and they'll see where the stories don't match up, and then they'll start, finding out where she's lying, put it with the evidence, and they build their case like that. So there's nothing to be gained from confronting her right now. Right now, what the cops are doing, they're evidence gathering. And part of this interview, it's evidence gathering, and it did well at the trial. This was a big part of their sort of evidence, and one of the only bits of video evidence we got to watch at the trial. Everything else was PDFs and photos and this and that. This was one of the very few videos we got. Wendy asked, it's very common interrogation. It's basically giving someone enough rope, and the term is really it's a bit mean, but you give them enough rope to hang themselves, and that's what they're doing here. They keep feeding her rope, and she's hanging herself with it by lying, saying the wrong thing, all these different things. So it's just a tactic they use. Did I miss any questions? Kim says, it doesn't worry anyone else so many of these people exist. On Monday, we're about to go to another trial in New Zealand, and that one is a poisoning case as well. A mother is accused of poisoning her 2 children. So, yeah, there seems to be a few of them around. All right. Right. Gayla says, have you ever been at a family function and you are talking to a teen or a kid that has a phone in their hand? Her reaction is exactly how they respond when told something. One of the things that I saw at the trial, And you see Erin in this interview, but what we saw at the trial when she was on the stand, you saw these very different faces of Erin Patterson. This one is sort of the meek, timid, sort of compliant, and lying, but sort of this compliant, submissive personality. On the stand, you saw this other personality, which was pushing back on stuff, very agitated, arrogant. What else? Sort of, yeah, just very arrogant. Thought she was in her own right. When the prosecution would give her something and say, "Hey, can you talk about this? Tell us about this," she would be like, "Oh, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's correct. Are you sure that's the right date?" Like, she was really snarky, and I think to me that shows the two different faces of Erin Patterson. This one that you see here, this is not Erin Patterson. The one that you saw, if you unfortunately I can't show it to you because we're not allowed to broadcast anything and we're not allowed to record anything from the trial. But the one that was on the witness seat giving evidence, that is the real Erin. This Erin, I don't think so. This one is basically one who's shut down. It basically shut down, trying to avoid and trying to basically get out of this situation somehow. But yeah, the one at trial was, to me, I believe it's the real Erin Patterson, and it's the one you sort of see glimpses of in that TV footage. The one at the car where she starts to get angry at the media, and she's sort of like, "Get off my land, get out of my driveway." That one. That's the one that you saw that we saw at the trial. Um, Sean said, by going ahead with the dinner, wasn't she going to be the main culprit? Yeah, I don't understand that. She basically boxed herself in with no escape plan. You invited people, you prepared the meal. I mean, there's no one else to go to. Who else is there to blame? I never understood that for someone who seemed to be so into true crime. Apparently very, very clever, but couldn't figure out that she was automatically going to have her finger pointed at her for the crime. Wendy said, "I would love to see that ping. It'll never be shown." I mean, maybe at some point a TV station will win the rights to, like, they'll get like a law thing going and be able to get the footage or something. But right now it is not available. Simon lives and gets the golden goose. Well, yes, but he lost his family in the process. He lost his mum and dad, he was very close to. Simon was extremely close to his mum and dad. Extremely. You hear it in the evidence and some of the other things I've read about Simon. They were just such a big part of his world. You know, he ate dinner with them many nights of the week. He hung out with his dad frequently. Um, he has to go through life now without either of them, nor his auntie and uncle. So it's pretty sad. And he's got 2 kids to raise now on his own. Luckily, the one thing he does have, he's got a very big family. Big family. He's got a few sisters and brothers. There's others on the Wilkinson side. If he needs support, he's definitely got it, which is very lucky. He's lucky in that sense. Sean said she loses her children forever. Well, don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll visit mum in prison. Carliza said, I wonder if she assumed she got away with it because she tormented Simon for so long without any repercussions. Maybe. Maybe she was so cocky because she had done it to Simon and no one investigated that. No one thought it was her. Even though Simon had mentioned he had mentioned it to people. He thought she was behind his illness, but it was never investigated. So Marco says no winners in all of this. I agree. No winners. A lot of victims, unfortunately. Sean said, was Simon's dad loaded or the uncle? I don't know. I think they were all fairly well off. I think Simon's family has money. I think the Wilkinsons have worked hard all throughout their lives, and I think they have some money too, but I think they've worked very hard throughout their lives. Hug said, if Simon would have showed up, was there a chance that she would have ate the same dish to do herself and everyone else in? I don't know. I don't think so. I think she still would have eaten the one without the death cap mushrooms. I don't think her entire plan was to wipe everyone out, including herself, and then leave her children with no one. I think her plan was to wipe those people out, take all the assets from Simon and herself, and then go raise her children without any sort of interference from the family. Yeah, I don't think so. She had time. If she wanted to do that, she could have done it. She had 2 months past the lunch. She had plenty of time to do that. If she really wanted a way out, she could have. She had time. Share. Too narcissistic. I believe she is narcissistic as well. Audio Power said she seemed to think she had so much money a lawyer could always bail her out. He tried. He tried. But I have a funny feeling. It was strange near the end of the trial and this process for sentencing that her lawyer just there was no psychological reports. There was nothing that they gave to sort of um, get the sentencing sort of down to try and push those years down. And something tells me that they didn't want that. They wanted Justice Beale to give the highest sentence possible so that they could appeal on it and say it was manifestly excessive. My personal thought is I think Justice Beale tried to thwart that move by giving the parole period, because then he can say, well, I did take it into account. I could have given her life in prison and no parole, but instead I showed leniency in some of these factors here that they gave to me, and so I gave her the parole date. Just my opinion. So please read the comment with the question. Okay, I'm going back. Oh, hey, my friend. Was she always psychotic? I think she was. I think it dates back many years before all of this and Simon. I think so. I think maybe she didn't offend against people, but I always think there was maybe, for lack of a better term, always a bit of a screw loose. I fully believe that. You know, I think she may have had some issues dating back way before this. So yes, I don't know about psychotic, but I think there was some sort of something going on with her for a long period of time. Is that the one you wanted me to answer? Oh, here. Oh, Marjorie, she did? Marjorie asked a question, when was the dehydrator bought? Okay, I can show you. We have that evidence. I think we've shown it before, but that's okay. I can show it to you. Hold on. I can show you exactly when it was bought. We have the receipt here. So the dehydrator was bought on the 23rd of April. No, the 28th. Wait, is that what it is? The 28th of the 4th, 2023. Geez, has it been that long? It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, but it has. So it was bought in April. The lunch happened in July, so very late in July. So a few months before the lunch, she bought the dehydrator. The prosecution alleges that she bought the dehydrator after picking up death cap mushrooms earlier that day. After picking up the death cap mushrooms, she went and bought this Sunbeam Food Lab electronic dehydrator to dehydrate those death cap mushrooms. So there you go. Direct evidence from the trial. Here, I'm going to take this away because it's so bright. Yeah, I'm just going to put this up. the white background is like, brrr, it's very. Hey, Missy, how are you? No, you haven't missed too much. Good to see you, my friend. Sorry for missing your question, Marjorie. If I miss your question, just bring it back up and I'll answer it. Audio said, my theory is that the advent of the world, COVID exacerbated her hypochondria and psychotic tendencies. It takes a lot for someone to go around and tell people that she has cancer and she has this illness and her back hurts and that she has all these different medical ailments. What is interesting is in her medical records that were shown to the court, you can see the doctors going, "Oh, she keeps complaining of this and that, but we've ran some tests and nothing came back as positive." So you can see that she keeps going to these doctors asking about these different ailments, and they do these sort of tests to find out if she does have it, and they keep coming back as negative. So she's been doing it for a long time. So you might be right. Kathy says, "Do we know why she chose to use mushrooms?" No. But I will say that in some of the evidence, there is a tendency to use poisons or to have an interest in poisons. So, in some of the evidence, we heard about different types of poisons that she had allegedly been searching on her devices. All these different types of, I don't want to name them all, but if you can imagine some of the most commonly known ones, you would probably be right. Gayla said also stick. Yeah, do one of those. That would help. Kaliza said she should have gotten the dehydrator at a yard sale or a thrift shop with cash. Yeah, we're gonna watch you, Kaliza. Don't be poisoning no one. Someone screenshot this so in case Kaliza poisons anyone with death cap mushrooms. Sean said, who were her confidants at trial? There was a woman at trial that I saw that was in the gallery most days. I don't know who she is. I've heard a few things about who that person is. I heard that it's a person that she met online, that they're not particularly close, and that basically that was her last person that would help her. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was told. Marco said, I think having all that money and not a job and a strong routine was one of her downfalls, gave her too much time to spend on Dr. Google. Dr. Google was definitely one of the things that came up in the trial a few times about how she would look up these very minor symptoms and then turn like a small thing into like a giant mountain. And yeah, you might be right. Too much time and nothing else to do. Warner still said, do you think she tried poisoning others as she was growing up, maturing? She had no family left, correct? What did they die from and at what ages? Her mom died from cancer. I'm not sure about her father. I don't know much about him. But I don't know about beforehand, but at least with Simon, she showed, you know, it didn't happen just one time. If it happened one time, you could be like, okay, she was experimenting with poisons and then she did the lunch. But it sounds like with Simon, she tried a few different poisons on him, uh, at least 3 different types to see what they did to him. And one almost killed him. So, yeah, she may have. Kathy said, I suspect she rarely had friends throughout her life. Uh, yeah, some of the evidence that we heard is that didn't that she used this online friend group as her sort of real friends, and that making friends in real life she had problems with. Like while she knew people and sort of had acquaintances, they weren't like really super close friends, like going away on a holiday with like, some people have like girlfriends and they're like, we're going on a girls trip away. Nothing like that. She used these online people as a surrogate for real friends in real life. So yeah, Dr. Google. Let's see. Gayla said, never ever look up what your symptoms might be online. It's always cancer. It doesn't matter what it is. You're like, I've got a headache. They're like, you have brain cancer. You're like, oh, my foot hurts. They're like, amputation. You're gonna have to get it amputated. You have foot cancer. And that's probably what happened to Erin. She's like, my elbow hurts. They're like, elbow cancer. You're gonna have to get your elbow amputated. You're just gonna have one straight arm. They're gonna cut your elbow out and glue your forearm back to your like back to the top part of your arm. So you'll walk around with a stiff arm for the rest of your life because it's because of that elbow cancer. Wendy said, can you discuss Simon's poison background? Do you have a video about this I can watch later? No, we're making one. It's because there's so much evidence and so many things I want to talk about in the video. It's a lot of editing. It's a lot of adding in evidence and different parts of my notes from the trial. And I'm just one guy that has ADHD. And I don't mean to use that as an excuse. It's just that I find it hard to sort of I start projects and then I sort of drop them and then I pick them back up again and then I drop them again, and it's just how I am. It's nothing I can really change. Yeah, so I've been working on it when I get into the mood, and then when I sort of am over it, I just stop it and then pick it up, but it'll get done eventually. So yes, you will have a very, very detailed video for it when I get finished with it. Kaliza said, like if she served them burritos and included some powdered mushrooms they might not have known to test for death caps. I think she just got cocky. Definitely cocky. Marco said she experimented with her own children hiding mushrooms in it was muffins. Yeah, that's creepy to me. It's almost like she needed to know whether anyone could taste the powdered mushrooms, right? It's like she wanted to know before she did this to the family whether anyone would pick it up. So she dehydrated them, pulverized them, and put them into the muffins or the beef Wellington. Would anyone be able to taste it? And she used that beef Wellington because it already had mushrooms in it, so it wouldn't set anyone off thinking, hey, I get a sort of mushroomy, earthy taste. What is going on? She used the beef Wellington to cover the death cap poisoning. Kathy said, remember that kid in high school you were afraid to talk to? That was Erin. Possibly. I didn't know her in high school. Gayla said, I'm creepy. I hid veg in my kids' food. I think a lot of parents do that. They want to up their children's vegetable intake. And one of the advice over the last, many decades has been to chop it very finely or blitz it and put it into the children's food because they won't be able to taste it. Like when you make spaghetti bolognese and you put like celery and carrots and all sorts of things and you kind of blitz it up or chop it really fine and you put it in there with some ground beef, the kids never taste it. They have no idea it's even there. And they're just like, oh, yummy spaghetti. And they're getting a whole heap of veg with it. Kathy Lynch said, what was you... sorry. That is me. That is me. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of mums do that. Audio Power said, I read on the ABC online that as Erin left court after sentence, she knocked fist twice on journalist table as a symbolic power move. I know some of the journalists that work the trial, me included, they would have just laughed at her. I'm serious. They would have been cackling in the media room after they got out of there, I promise. They would have found that hilarious that she tried to intimidate them. Yeah, I think they would have found that absolutely funny as hell. Yeah, Erin was not really intimidating many people. One of the things I did hear that she did at trial is that because of where she was seated at the back, she was seated behind the journalists, that some of the journalists felt like she was sort of like lasering at the back of their heads, and they sort of found that slightly uncomfortable. But, what is she going to do? Jump over the barricade and attack them? So there you go. Kathy said, hold on. Give me a sec. Someone's sending me emails. Hold on. Hey, by the way, thank you to my friend Kathy. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And thank you to the other supporter, Sean. These two people, along with the third person who doesn't want to be named, were some of the main people who supported me during this trial. And I want to say thank you to them because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Unfortunately, they're not. It just takes up a lot of time. I mean, we started in early April and we just got done this week with Erin. We got done in September. So it took up a good chunk of the year just following this particular trial from start to finish. And yeah, without their support, there's no way I could do it. Gail is wait. Kathy said, "Were you outgoing in school?" Um, no, I hated school. I hated school, hated freaking primary school, hated high school, hated it. Hated being there. I didn't fit in. I was the outcast in almost every school I went to. I got bullied a lot. Hated school. It was the worst place I'd ever been in my life. I feel like it's designed to torture children. I cannot stand um like school for young kids. I think it's if you don't fit in and you're on the outcast of the school environment, it's like torture. It's literally like torture, and it damages children. Unfortunately, I understand why you have to go get an education, but it hurts people, especially kids who don't fit in. Sean said Granville Boys must have been tough. I didn't go to Granville Boys. I went to Parramatta West Public School. So I went to West Parramatta. Yeah, Parramatta West. And then I went to Para High. And then I got kicked out of Para High. And then I went to Granville South. So I was in Granville South. I went to Granville High School for like a week. And then the what do you call it, headmaster was like, "You don't fit in here." He's like, "You're a white kid." He's like, "You need to find a different high school." So I got transferred to Granville South, and then went to I was there for a couple of years, and then I went out to a different one in near Penrith. So there we go. Missy said, "Why didn't Erin have a mental health assessment? It would be interesting to know whether her defense suggested it to her, but it sounded like the judge was of the belief that this was not agreed to." Yeah, I'm not sure about the whole. He said in his, I got it here, I can read it. He said in his closing thing here, if I can grab it, he talked about that when he was talking about circumstances that were in her side in the sentencing. I will grab it. It should be. Yeah. I'll read you what he said about it. I really wish this had a dark mode. It's so freaking bright. Actually, I can do it a different way. Hold on, guys. I'm going to do it a different way so I don't blind myself with the white background. All right, here we go. I'll read you what he said. I'll go down to his bit about Erin. Go away, Adobe. All right, it must be down here. Um, Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be blank here. I'm just trying to find it. Substantial premeditation. Later that day. No. Offender status. Sorry, it's this one sentence he talks about where on her side of it, she was basically given, like their team, the one that was defending her, basically gave him nothing. They didn't give him anything mitigating on her side. How to continuous tempt. That's that one. All right, I found it. I'm on the right track. Personal history. Okay. Here. He talks about how the information provided to him about her personal history was minimal. Your counsel simply relied on your personal history that you provided in your trial testimony. There were no psychiatric or psychological reports provided, no references from character witnesses. No doubt that approach to your plea hearing was based on your instructions, but it means the account of your personal history is limited. So they did not provide any psychiatric or psychological reports to mitigate any circumstances for the trial. Jeez, this fucking thing. Hold on, guys. Uh you have to see my stupid face. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that is it. I'm sorry you had to see my dumb face so big, but that's the report right there. So that's the bit that he was talking about. No psychiatric or psychological reports provided. No references from character witnesses. So, yeah, there you go. Lisa said, I helped my share of kids like Ping. I wish I could have helped him. I don't know. When you move around so much and you don't, I don't know. It's very hard. High schools and that are very hard to fit into unless you were sort of there from the beginning. It's very hard to fit in later on. So if you come into a group of people in a high school or other school, like in year 8 or year 9 or year 10, and you haven't been there in that friend group for a long time, it's extremely hard to sort of fit in and try to break that barrier. So, yeah. Aussie Ted said, I love learning about social politics of kids. Was way too heavy and confusing for me. Maths was easy. I liked maths and science. Maths and science and English were my three strongest subjects, and I did well in geography too, even though I mess it up all the time on this show. No, no. Mountain Bee said that was my experience with school as well. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Sergeant Pepper said it was a lot more challenging. I agree. Wendy said, speaking of, have you got? Yeah, I've done some. We did some at the trial. Yeah, we did some. So we're gonna change. Where is it? Hold on. So we're gonna use this for some of the shows in the future. I don't know if you can see it. Can we make it? So we're gonna use this. This is a tiny little microphone, and you can put it like it's really small. You can put it on like your jumper or your hoodie or whatever, and it clips on, and you're able to speak to it without the microphone. So we've been using it for the Erin Patterson video that I'm making for the channel. So it's just me talking to the camera. But yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, we can't put the camera anywhere else in here. The room is so it's so tight with the sort of room I've got. Like you guys can see, I can't even go back. Like the chair, that's as far back as I can go. That's it. And then if I go to here, I'm at the desk. Like the desk is right here. I can go this way a little bit or that way a little bit. And behind here is not able to use that room. So it's just very tight with the angles we have. Otherwise we'd have the camera like here or something. We tried it on top of the screen like here, but it looks like you're looking down at my like it looks like you're looking like this way. like it's a weird angle because the screen is high, so it looks like you're looking down at my forehead, and I don't like that. I sort of prefer this angle. I think it looks better than up on here on the screen. So just my opinion. Aussie Tad said, I loved science, maths, and English and geography. Me too. Kathy said, I'm an English and art person. I can't do art for anything. I'm like, here is my stick figure. I spent 25 hours of working on this stick figure. Here is my art. And I can't do art. I'm not very good at it. It gives you an air of mystery. Well, that's funny. People have met me. I met people at the trial, and no, we did. If you go back to the videos we did at the trial, I was sitting on a bed talking to you guys for like hours after the trial each night. There's videos out there. I think I even did a couple of these type of shows, just sitting on a couch at the trial in the hotel room. So yeah, we do it sometimes. Uh, Everyone can do art. It may be just more abstract. Mine is like stick figure drawing. That's all I can do. All right. All right. Any more questions about Erin? Do you guys have anything else? Because I'm not going to do any more shows. And I've said that a couple of times, but now that we have the sentencing, that's it. I want to sort of move on. And on Monday, we have a new trial coming. So I want to do that. And then tomorrow night, we have Cold Justice episode 1 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Oxygen Network. It'll be the first episode of this new season. And at 10:30 Eastern, I'll be on. I'll have all the background information for the case, and I'll tell you everything you didn't hear on the episode of Cold Justice. So tomorrow night at 10:30, we will have a new season, and I will do that every Saturday night for the entire season of the show. So every Saturday night, that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow Cold Justice and the new episodes. I can't wait. I spoke to one of their people at work on the show. They told me a few of the episodes that are coming up for I think they told me episode 1, 2, and 3 to give me some background so I can do some research. The first 3 are really, really good. Like, there's been some good episodes of Cold Justice over the years. This season looks like a firecracker. There are some amazing cold cases that they are going to try and solve on Cold Justice. Oh, someone emailed me. Who was it? Someone emailed me earlier. It was my friend Kelly. Kelly emailed me saying if I could tell people that they don't have to watch the Oxygen channel on cable, but the Peacock app has Cold Justice on it. So if you have the Peacock NBC app, you'll be able to watch Cold Justice on there. So Khaleesa said, "You're probably so tired of seeing her sullen face staring at you. I don't blame you. I'm a little washed out and a little done with it. Yeah, I'm tired of Erin. It's been I think I know more about Erin than I could ever want to know. I think um before I went to this trial, I knew quite a bit about Erin, but now I know so much about it. It's almost like uh, I've had enough. I'm like, okay, I got all the information I wanted to know. I reported everything that we had to do. It's sort of like, am I done now? Can I finish my job? Can we move on to a different trial? So we are. Hopefully on Monday. I haven't got my approval from the New Zealand High Court as of yet, but I'm hoping we will get access to the Hak Young Lee trial, and there'll be 2 more weeks. So this was a 3-week trial. Started last week or this week, and it's going to go for next week and the week after, and then there'll be jury deliberations with it. So I'm hoping to catch you guys up on Monday. Jojo said Ping has had an Erin overdose. I have a little bit. I mean, it's been bonkers. Kathy said Ping knows so much about Erin. I know too much. Too much about Erin. Ozzy said, it's only been 2 years. What about Bloody Daybell? Yeah, I'm sort of glad I didn't go down that path, eh? Those poor people that had to cover Erin, they had to do one trial, then a year later, they had to do another trial, and now they're doing a third one. I think that would be okay because there's a gap, like there's like a 12-month gap between each one. I'd be okay with that if we went back next year and had to do something else for Erin, like if they decided to charge her with Simon's charges again and they wanted to conduct a new trial, yeah, I would go to it. Yeah, of course. But just we've been sort of doing it for 4 or 5 months straight right now. So it's a lot. Kathy said, Ping, you could write a book about Erin. I can't even write like my shopping list. I can't even write my shopping list properly. I don't know how I'd write a book. I don't like I forget things on my shopping list and I go to the shops and I'm like, oh, I should have got that. I don't know how the hell I'd write a book. We're going to miss it. I know. But hey, we're going to have more trials. I think Samantha Murphy's trial, Patrick Oren Stevenson next year will be one of the. It might not be big as Erin's trial, but it's going to be a big trial. One of the, probably the second biggest in Victorian history recently. It's going to be massive. It's going to be a big one too. Aussie's Tad said, just voice record it with your notes. My notes are all, yeah, you could. No, the notes need editing. The notes are very like they're chunks of information. So in court, we'd be listening to a witness and I'd type out paragraphs of what they would say. And then we'd move on to another witness and then we'd have to type paragraphs again. So it would still need a lot of editing. Chat GPT, I don't want to contribute to the world of slop AI. I don't want to do that. Gayla said, I want justice for Samantha and her family. Me too. I do too. Mimi says, my husband calls me at least 5 times from the grocery store. I think, what would he do without me? Yeah, I do the same thing. When Mrs. Ping is at the grocery store, I call her, I'm like, hey, can you get this? Hey, I forgot this. Can you get this one as well? And she's like, why didn't you put it on the shopping list? I'm like, what shopping list? I'm like, I didn't know you had a shopping list. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, can you just get those other things too? Uh, Aussie Taz said, worry about the editing later. I mean, possibly. All right. What else do we want to? No, I don't want to write a book. I don't want to write a book. There's already so many books in the works for Erin. I don't know how many, but the Supreme Court told us there was like 4 different authors at the trial that were writing their own book. Let them have it. I'm a YouTube medium type of guy. I'm not the here's a bit of a tree type of guy. Kathy said my husband gets me on video messaging. What, you walk around the store and show him like all the products and say, which one do you want? I mean, that's what the technology has brought to us. We're able to do that now. All right, here. Where's my other thing? All right, let's go up here. All right, so if you guys don't have any more questions about Erin, I think we're going to close the book on it. I think that's it. I want to be done with it. Ping's a little burnt out on Erin, so I Hate Morning says my parents would stop at the store on the way home, and both would buy the exact same things. That's pretty funny. Aussie Tad said I have to zoom in with my phone to see labels now. We do that too. Woman of Steel said maybe someday Ping will write a book. I don't know. It's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work with very little financial reward for it. Yeah, I just I just don't know whether the return would be worth it. I think that it might sell a few copies, but it may end up costing me more money to get it done than we would make on the back end. So, and then all the time to write it but there are some very interesting stories from the trial that would make a good book. Khaleesa said, "Did you see the Amish lady that unalived her 4-year-old in a lake? She said God put him in a fish like Jonah in the Bible." What? What is wrong with some people? Some people are smoking crack and the Bible. I think they're definitely smoking the crack. Finish Game of Thrones, Ping? I've never watched or read Game of Thrones ever. It's not my type of thing. Let's see. Woman. Let's see. Looks like it was Ohio Amish mother Ruth Miller telling police she gave her son to God. Well, that's interesting. I don't know why you would need to give your son to the God. Yeah, she pled not guilty. Here, let's bring it up.
Everyone may be seated. I appreciate that. And we are now proceeding in the case entitled "The State of Ohio versus Ruth Miller." It is case number 2025 CR 090285. And we are here today for an arraignment. Ms. Miller, my name is Michael Ernest. I am what's called a common pleas court judge. Your case is one that was randomly assigned to my courtroom. And for an arraignment, there are 3 things that I do at every arraignment, and that is I address your right to counsel. I'm going to read to you something called an indictment, and I'm going to address the issue of bail as well. And starting in this matter, I would note, though, for the record, that in this case, notices of appearance have been filed on your behalf. Seated at counsel table is attorney Ian Friedman, as well as Madeline Grant. The state of Ohio is represented as well.
All right, that's really boring. I don't want to watch that. I want to show you some of the body cam. Yeah, let's watch this video from WKYC Channel 3.
Ruth Miller, the Amish mother accused of killing her 4-year-old son, was just indicted by a grand jury on charges of aggravated murder, child endangerment, and domestic violence. Newly released body camera footage sheds light on Miller's mental state, which law enforcement officials describe as a state of, quote, spiritual delusion. We do want to warn you, this is a really heavy story. The body camera footage, it is difficult to watch. We just wanted to give you that heads up. Annabelle Childers has the details.
I gave him to God today.
You gave him to God today?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
This body camera footage shows a conversation between sheriff's deputies and 40-year-old Ruth Miller on the morning of August 23rd. According to the Tuscarawas County Sheriff, deputies rushed to the Atwood Marina after witnesses reported seeing Ruth Miller drive a golf cart carrying her 3 teenage children into the lake. The teenagers got out safely, and rescuers pulled Miller out of the water. But when deputies spoke with her, they quickly realized this was more than an isolated incident. Miller's husband was missing, and this is what Ruth said about her 4-year-old son.
I threw him in the lake, and I gave him to God. And people are going to tell me I am crazy, but he is real, and he loves you.
Where's your husband?
He went for a walk this morning.
And you haven't seen him
He
since?
didn't ever come back. And we went to the boat, and his clothes were there. And God told me he's in the lake, and a fish swallowed him.
Deputies kept pushing for more information.
People are going to tell me that I am crazy. No, we're not. We can see it with our eyes. We don't have to tell you anything because we can just plainly see and hear from you that you're crackers. You are crackers. Like, I'm sure God is real and he does love you. That's fine. Talk to Lori Vallow. She knows all about it. But your husband is not in a fish. He did not go and he's clothes and he's in a fish and no. The fishes are not uprising against us to undertake a passage from the Bible. They are not doing that. They are not clever enough and they do not have the weapons like we do. We have more weapons, we'll kill all the fish. They will never uprise against the humans.
Well, we really need to verify your husband's still with us.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, he's actually just go out in the bottom of the lake.
Well, I can't go in the bottom of the lake. So
Do you have scuba divers?
Yeah, we're gonna have to call divers in to go to the bottom of the lake.
Please do.
And you're saying
Get the best ones there are, because this is a miracle from God, and you will see.
That night, divers found the 4-year-old's body in the water, and the next morning, Miller's husband's body was found. Ruth Miller was hospitalized for mental health concerns and later booked into the Tuscarawas County Jail. The sheriff says Ruth and her husband, Marcus Miller, were a part of the Amish community, and the mental crisis she was in manifested in what officials called, quote, a spiritual delusion. Friday morning, a grand jury indicted her on 7 charges, 1 count of aggravated murder and 1 for murder and felonious assault in the death of her son. Miller was also indicted on 1 count of child endangerment and 3 counts of domestic violence for crashing the golf cart in Atwood Lake. Now, Miller is set to appear in court Monday afternoon for an arraignment. The murder charges she's facing could carry sentences of life in prison. Christy.
My goodness.
I don't know what to say except for a religious delusion. I think she is 100% crackers. It's insane. Find the best scuba divers that you have. This is a miracle. No, it's premeditation. That's what it is. Not a miracle, premeditation. Very different. Very different. Joe said, I just practice no whaling as a matter of personal principle. Yes. Audio says it was a holy golf cart. It was something. Had a lot of holes because it sunk. So it sunk and people died. Therefore, it obviously had a lot of holes in it. Chipmunk said, I'm serious, look it up. I guess it was at one time for whales to get in there. Not on this particular day, though. Chipmunk said, Ohio still has the law of no whaling. Yes, landlocked states often have those laws about no whaling. Let's see. Where's Woman of Steel? Aussie Tad said her husband had swum to a sandbank and drowned after apparently not feeling some lake prayer ritual thingy had gone well. Then she went after the kids, I believe. Crackers, both of them. Kathy said, Jonna was swallowed by a whale. I hope there are no whales in that lake. Let's save the whales if they are. If there are whales in the lake, let's take them back to the ocean. Chipmunk said, random thoughts. Okay. I'm glad there is many dimples in a golf ball. Let's see. You can see the golf cart in the water. Yeah, you can, right? Here, we'll go back. It's right here. Right, there you go. Khaliza said it's strange that both mom and dad were suffering from religious delusions enough to drown the husband and son and try to unalive the rest of her family. It could be like folie à deux, which is the delusion of two. This is not super common in psychiatric diagnosis. It's actually pretty rare, but this sounds like a prime example. Possibly, you would have to you would have to figure out whether she is acting in this delusion or the delusion is real. You would have to get a psychologist to look at them and be like, are they acting to cover up the premeditation of these murders, or are they really believe it? It's hard to know. Aussie Tad said more common in families. It is. Jojo said Marilyn. Okay. It's been 4 years, Marilyn. I don't know what that means, but sure. Maybe they fed into each other's delusions. It could be. Maybe it's an STD they both got. Those Amish swingers, they are causing all sorts of havoc right now. We're going to have to get some sexual education for them. Aussie Tad said, I think she's for real. Well, we'll find out. She pled not guilty for reason of insanity. So we will see. By the way, the case that we're going to hopefully on Monday, that one is an insanity plea as well. Hak Young Lee is pleading insanity for killing her children as well. So we get a poisoning and insanity plea at this Hak Young Lee trial in New Zealand. So we've not done one of those before. We will see. Kathy said, I would like to know if they were involved in a cult. I don't know. What do you define as a cult? Some people define a church as a cult. Some people define maybe the Amish as a cult because they all do the same thing. They dress the same way. They act like it's 1805. I mean, depends what your definitions are. Chipmunk said, I saw that. You saw that? I'm glad you did. Gayla said, I think it's real. I read lots on it. They were proper religious nutters. Which state? Ohio, right? Am I going mental? Did we say it was Ohio? Body cam footage showed Amish mum's chilling statements to police. Days later, she entered an insanity plea. All right, what state is it? Tuscarawas County. So in Ohio, there we go. Can we watch the whole body camera? Let's see if they have the entire body camera on here. We can't use it. It's crime online. We're not allowed to use it. All right. Let me see if I can find a different version of it for you. Because I want to see the whole thing. Body cam. Yeah, we can't use anything that's court TV. I'm not allowed to. Let me see if I can find someone else that has it. Unfortunately, I think it might be a court TV exclusive, and I'm not willing to get copyright struck for it, unfortunately. Yeah. Shocking body cam. Yeah, I can't find it, unfortunately. Oh, this one's interesting, though. Give me 1 second. Is this a Othram thing? Let's have a look. I want to take you to WCTV, if I can.
Just identified in Cobb County after 40 years of her family waiting for answers. Atlanta News First Adam Murphy is live off Riverview Road in Cobb County tonight. So Adam, how did police piece this decades-old mystery together?
Hi there, Carly. DNA evidence is what helped investigators move one step closer to trying to find out what happened to this young woman whose remains were found along the Chattahoochee River near Riverview Drive in Cobb County back in 1984. Now, the victim has now been identified as Veronica Jane Miller. Miller was 20 years old when she was killed in 1984. Police say they used advanced genetic genealogy tests at Othram Labs. That's a company they've been working with to help them break this case. Now, the testing led them to Miller's half sister. I'm told that she lives in Ohio. Police are still looking for the victim's killer now in this case.
Well, at this point, we would need the public's help in identifying a suspect or suspects that might be responsible for this. Miss Miller's death was ruled as being a homicide. So again, now it has gone from an unidentified person to now an unsolved homicide.
And Miller's death was ruled undetermined at the time. And they said that she had died about 3 months prior to her remains being found along the Chattahoochee River in Cobb County. Now, if she'd have been alive today, she would have been 61 years old.
Wow, good work, Othram. Good work, Othram. Found in 1984. That is the year I was born. That's no 1980s near Chatham. Let me try and find if we can get a photo of her. So she was about 20 years old. Her name is Veronica Miller. Veronica Jane Miller, May of 1984. Ping wasn't even born yet when she unfortunately died. So here's a photo of her. Good work, Othram, bringing someone back and giving them their name. She was found dead in May of 1984 in a wooded area near the river in southwest Cobb County. Her death is now being investigated as a homicide. Police said at the time foul play could not be ruled out and her cause of death could not be determined. It was, however, determined that she died 3 months prior, before her remains had been located. In 2011, an additional DNA profile was done, but there were no matches. A 3D model of what Miller may have looked like at the time was also done. And they're saying here, she was known as the Cobb County Jane Doe 1984. She was eventually identified from Othram. Othram gave her name back. Apparently, testing led them to Miller's half-sister in Ohio. Police are still looking for the victim's killer in the decades-old case. So that is really cool. Well done to them. Yeah, so they put out a press release for it here from the CCPD, Cobb County Police Department. And they're saying here that the miracle makers, Othram, gave someone else their name back again. Well done. Yeah, I can't use anything from Law and Crime or anything from Court TV. But I could read this. Crackers, both of them. 1 in the morning. I don't know. They're gonna have to do some testing on the wife for sure. Yeah, tell us if they had any life insurance policies on the Amish people. Yeah. So after 41 years, they found this lady, Veronica Jane Miller, and she was from Mapleton, and she was about 20 years old when she died, so she was very young. And they think that it's possible that her murderer could still be out there. But it's going to be a hard case to crack unless they already have a suspect, because they couldn't even tell how she died. She was so decomposed that finding a cause of death was like almost impossible. So that's very sad. By the way, thank you to my friend Lisa for the super sticker. I appreciate it. It's very kind, very, very kind. I appreciate the generosity of all my viewers. They are the reason we can cover so many cases per year. You know, I was asked in an interview at the trial, how many cases do we do per year? And I said it's something like 2,000. Something like 2,000 cases per year. Woman still said that Othram lady was my doppelganger. Ah, she looked like you? There's her photo again. I'm not sure if this is like her real photo or the one they did to sort of find out what she looked like. I'm guessing it must be her real photo. Like that's something that came from her sister. So they found a sister in Ohio. It's a half sister, and that's how they ID'd her. So they were able to get a DNA match. It's pretty cool though. But a very sad ending place for her to be found next to a river. Pretty awful, right? But I love that about Othram. These cases that we all read about in true crime, they're starting to disappear. And at some point, hopefully in the future, there will be no more Jane Doe 1984 because we'll be able to figure out who they are. And we won't have these sort of fairy tales in true crime anymore. These sort of urban legends that go around true crime where they just circulate for years and years. And hopefully that'll be a thing of the past with what they're doing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Chipmunk said, "Oh, okay. Amish TV shows? You screenshot her family to show them? That's pretty cool. They might believe it is you. All right. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. By the way, yeah, they did find Charlie Kirk's killer. That kid was arrested if you haven't seen it. And also Charlie Kirk's wife also did a sort of speech today, and they have Charlie in a coffin. So they have a photo of it here, if I can bring it up. Here is his wife, and there's Charlie in the coffin and saying her goodbyes to him. They'll have a funeral next week for Charlie. So I just want to show you. I wanted to show you. There was a photo of the killer, but I wanted to give to you. If I can find it. All right. Hold on. So there's a big press conference about 8 a.m. this morning, and they were just before that, Trump made it known public. So his name is Tyler Robinson, 22. They caught him because he sort of confessed to his family, and his dad figured out that it was probably his son, got him to talk to a family friend, and that friend was connected to the Marshal Service, and they ended up bringing him in. I think she did. Wasn't she there at the event? I thought she was there. Erica was there at the event. I don't know whether she actually saw him get shot or not, but I thought she was there. Hold on. Let me see. I'm not sure. I don't know. I heard a couple of things. I heard that she was at the event, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of misinformation going around, so that she was there. Yeah, I thought so. I thought I'd read that she was actually at the event. What a horrible thing to witness, right? Pretty horrible. It was a family event as usual. That's very sad. It's very sad that the last image she has of her husband alive is him bleeding out in front of all these people and herself from a gunshot wound. Um, Look, there's a lot of quotes going around about Charlie. Things like he said a few deaths every year from guns is acceptable. It's an acceptable sort of casualty of having guns. You know, some things, I guess, we say things sometimes, and you can see the irony. Werner Still said, yeah, it was a family event. Family into guns. His kids witnessed it too. Oh, horrific. Chipmunk said the episode where they went to get between. What? Are you talking about that Amish show, the one where they grow up in the Amish community and then they go to like the city for Rumspringer. I love that show. I used to watch it back in the 2000s. That was a great show. I can't remember what it was called, but Breaking Amish or something. Great show. Ping loved that show. Yeah, Breaking Amish. That show was amazing. It was for someone who grew up in Australia and doesn't have any Amish people here that I know of. It was a really interesting sort of insight into Amish people. I'd never known anything about them. I don't see them like so. For me, watching that show, it was a sort of look into their world and how they give their teenage children an opportunity to see like the other world, like the sort of non-Amish world, and they can stay there if they want, but they'll basically be cut off from their families and shunned if they choose that path. But very interesting. Yeah, I heard conflicting things too, so I'm not 100% sure. Kathy said the killer will need his family moving forward. I hope they will be there for him no matter what he did. I think his family are pretty involved, like you saw in how he was captured. So, Chipmunk said there was a couple of army shows very informative. The decisions they had to make were hard. I agree. It is stay or go. Please take his face down. Well, I can do that. Hold on. All right. Rumspringer? Yeah, it was Rumspringer. Yes, Utah does have the death penalty, and the authorities have said they're going to seek it in this particular case. So I believe that they will. Hey, Wendy, I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Wendy says, thank you for all the time you dedicate to true crime. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's from Wendy. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Firing squad? It could be. Could be the firing squad. You probably. Don't they have the don't they have the lethal injection in Ohio in Utah? Don't they have the lethal injection? It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know they have a couple of things, right? It's only the firing squad. Let's see. Death penalty, Utah types. Primary method of capital punishment is lethal injection in Utah, but firing squad is now a backup if the injection is unobtainable, or if the inmate sentenced prior to 2004 had chosen it as their preferred method. Inmates sentenced after May 2004 have lethal injection as the default, but those sentenced before that time had the option to elect for death by firing squad. There you go. So most likely it'll be lethal injection, not firing squad. Nobody is able to get it right now, as the company is no longer making it. I know that was a problem at one point. So maybe it'll be firing squad. Maybe. We'll see. We've got a trial to get through first. I think that'll be the thing that happens before any of that. Yeah, you can't get them. They got tired of fighting over the use of the drugs. Okay, that makes sense. So now you just get the click, click, bang. That'll probably be what happens to him. All right, we've been on for about 2 hours. I think that's not bad. It's about 3 a.m. in the morning now for all my American friends. But I appreciate all of you. You're all very kind. I hope you're looking forward to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Cold Justice at 10:30. 10:30 p.m. The show airs at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you can watch it, if you have cable or YouTube TV or whatever, it'll be on at 8 p.m. So yeah, it's 3 a.m. Well, I'm glad you all chose to stay up with me. Mountain Bee says in Idaho they are moving to firing squad after the last execution failed. They could not find a vein for the injection. Seems like it's now the new thing that they're going to do. Danny said it'll be quick. Look at the uni bomber. Yeah. Woman of Steel said I never get that long. I never get to live that long. Wendy R said it's wow. It's midnight on the West Coast. It's midnight. That makes sense. All right. Soon, in about a month or so, the times will change again. You guys will come off daylight savings and we will go on to daylight savings, which will make it easier for me to get on and hang out with you guys earlier. Kathy said, what happened to the chair? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe they don't want to use it anymore. Danny said, Utah prison is hell. I think most prisons are not fun places to be. Sergeant Pepper said, I wouldn't want to see that. Yeah, I don't think I want to see it either. I don't think I want to see someone get the DP, unless it's the fun kind of DP, not the one where you get that for a crime. Chipmunk said, thank you for all your duping. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. For Cold Justice, which I am so excited about. I can't wait. I've been waiting like a year and a half for new episodes. So join us for that tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern, and we'll work through the entire episode. We'll break it down. I'll try find the court filings for you. I will show you some of the information that they weren't able to get in the episode, and I will show you some screenshots from the episode as well. I love you all. Good night out there. Have a great Saturday for everyone. Have a great Saturday. If you're in Australia, have a great rest of your Saturday. And I hope that's it. I hope I've answered all your Erin Patterson questions. That's it. No more Erin Patterson. I'm done. You're going to get one video, a pre-recorded video, and that's it until the appeal happens, okay? No more. We're done. I've said that 3 times now, but I hope this time we're for real. All right. Good night, everyone. Love you all. Peace out. See you later. Bye.